best guy is the most masculine guy, is what you're saying?
No, you can continue to be who you are, but you got to deal with the consequence of being who you are. You will probably more than likely not get an assertive, dominant, attractive male that's traditionally masculine if you're a masculine woman.
But that doesn't really matter if that's not what you like to begin with.
Right. It's like
what
some women like feminine men. And
okay.
like to them, like a masculine man is like, okay, like whatever. You see it as like the grand prize, like whatever. But to them, it's like nothing because they're just not into that.
That's a lie. Women overwhelmingly prefer a more masculine, dominant man. And if you don't believe me, what is the most popular book amongst women? 50 Shades of Grey. What does that book exemplify?
That's my movie.
A man that is attractive, tall, income, dominant, etc. He has all the traits that women traditionally look for in men. Now, are there some weird exceptions of women that like feminine men? Absolutely. There's always going to be anomalies. But again, exceptions don't make the rule. If I line up 100 women, they're going to want a traditionally masculine man. 95 of them.
Probably more.
It's fine. But like, I'm just saying, you know, you're generalizing, and I'm just saying.
Okay. I can't. You know what? You're generalizing. You're generalizing. Because you're talking about 95 out of 100 men. You're generalizing. No, honey, he's talking about the majority. Well beyond the majority. I mean, who could even tolerate? But you know what it is? Again, this is a woman who ate the talking point. Masculinity is toxic. You know, women like all different types of guys. Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds inclusive. Let me just say that. Shows up on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and she gets knocked down in 2 seconds because it's garbage. Okay. If you're honest in the chat, you're going to admit that you like masculine men. How many women do you know see a guy, they're out, they look across the bar, and they see a guy who's got, you know, nail polish on, who looks very feminine, who's, you know, dainty, and they're like, that one. I want that one for me. And they go, no. They're looking right past that guy to the guy in the back who's, you know, got some muscles, who's got maybe a little facial hair, who, you know, you see him like maybe pay the bill for a bunch of people and say, don't worry, I got this. And all of a sudden, all the estrogens run into your body and your cheeks flush. You know it. You know it. Because that is a guy who's got it together. That's a guy who's strong. Women like strong men. We like to be, you know, picked up. We like in the bedroom, strength always becomes an asset. If we like a masculine vibe because that means you're going to provide. That means if we're walking down, you know, a street and someone starts to do something funky, New York City is a crime vestibule now. You want your strong guy next to you who's going to be like, back off or else. That's what's appealing in a man. And you want a man that feels sturdy like an anchor, right? You want a man that you feel like, you know, you can latch onto, you know? You know in Titanic when she's in the water? And Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, she's on the little boat, right? But did you ever watch that movie and get incensed about it? I was like, what the hell? She couldn't make room on that little piece of wood for him? He's in there like, he's like dying, literally dying of cold. And she's just like, let me just take a nap up here and spread out, you know. Let me just get every ounce of warmth. Honey, you couldn't move over a little bit. Regardless... That is, you know, all programming, matrix programming, as I say, because that guy would have ceased to be appealing if he didn't figure out to get himself a boat, get some. I understand people say, oh, no, he was doing good because he gave her the boat. Go figure out another thing to lean on, honey, because if help doesn't come, you're going to have figure out how to help her and save her, not die in the water. I mean, it's just like so nauseating. Not to mention, I'll say it, this won't go over well, but... He was a little skinny in that movie. She looked big. She looked like she had a lot of meat on her and he didn't. And that visual did not strike my fancy. That always felt like, I don't know. Personally, I like to see, you know, more of a petite woman and more of a strapping man. That's just my personal preference. I like her, by the way, Kate Winslet, but that was not a good match. She needed to be paired with some guy that really had some strength and, you know, looked like a man. Leo's like a little, in that movie, he was still a little boy. It was very like, I don't know. Not appealing. Not my type. Very pretty, too. I like handsome. I don't like pretty. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying in the chat? Guys are like, wow, she's gone off the deep end. Regardless, women aren't into feminine men. Yeah, I'm sure there's one here and one here that's like, oh, look at that male celebrity in a skirt. How cool. But vast majority are like, I'm out. You go to get a manicure done and you look to your left and there's a guy there and he's getting a manicure and it's pink. You're like, get me out of here. This craziness. You know, you can respect people's choices, but you're not going to be like, oh, that's a guy I want to date Can we just be honest for once? Women with these talking points, I swear. If you like the short clip and want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one on Connect, you're going to click right here. Let's get to talking.